And we've changed this moment of silence to invocation. And so I'll give the invocation tonight. Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for health and strength. Thank you for protecting our community from all hurt, harm, and danger. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this great staff. Heavenly Father, continue to be with them and guide them. And Heavenly Father, tonight we ask that you be with us, guide our thoughts, guide our decisions. We ask all these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion. Any changes to this?
None here.
I move to approve the agenda for the January 22nd board meeting as presented.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye.
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 Change it up then. Already have a hand up.
For Ms. Hayes. Ayes have it. All right, let's move to new business. Ms. Hayes, resident council stuff.
President Council, we just want to let everyone know that we have met several times and stuff with the youth violence seminar, as well as just our council itself, to kind of come up with a strategy to where we can kind of alleviate some of the stress from the youth violence. Financial, they spend anywhere from right at like $14.75 per event. So to alleviate some stress with them, we have voted within our council to do $1,500 to help out with the next four, and that's just, I think we're just gonna give them, make the math comes out to $375 per event just to help out. I think that's mostly with food. And other than that, the next event will be in Maxar Court. Everybody's welcome to come. The dates will be in the newsletter. Since if we're gonna finalize everything come Thursday, so we'll know who's speaking and everything.
Okay, what's the date?
Any questions?
They don't have a date yet. They meet Thursday.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay. Any questions?
None here.
Okay. So I'm clear, Ms. Hayes, on the budget amount. You were saying that there was an additional amount needed to help with putting on the event.
We were told up front that there was no fee, but later down the line, I guess with us having 6 events, normally when they come to a community, they do 1 or 2. And so with us asking them could they do all 6 to accommodate people without transportation and our communities, I guess, the numbers came in and they were kind of like asking for donations. Normally they do raffles and the raffles help out for the next event, but the raffles haven't been successful, and a lot of the community leaders that they normally get to donate from different areas, they said no one pretty much stepped up and offered to donate anything. So resident council kind of wanted to take it upon themselves to kind of try to help out, because we feel like what they do is so needed in this community. So it wasn't to help them cut the costs a little bit.
Okay, so you all are taking it out of your budget? Is that
Yes, sir.
okay? All right, I just wanted to be clear about
Yeah,
it.
for some of it, $1,500. So that'll be divided into 4. So it'll be $375 per event.
Okay, so what's their overall budget?
$1,475. That's how much it's been costing them. $1,475
For
event.
each event?
The resident council budget was $10,000.
Okay, 6,000? Okay.
$10,000.
10,000.
Yeah, that's the resident service. I mean, that's the resident council budget. 10,000.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a 6-month budget too.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably gonna use it all this fiscal year, based off of the things that we wanted to do in the budget. So we figured it wouldn't hurt
Where are we, with, are all of the councils active now? Do we have some kind of leadership?
Everyone is active. We have a new secretary, but the old one moved out, and we've always had an alternate sergeant in positions for field. And they're stepping up, working to be more active at this time because we amended our bylaws to include how we get paid on the stipend and when they are to be paid. So hopefully within the next month or so, I think me and Deborah right now, we qualify to go ahead and get our first stipend. And then after the original qualifications, you just have to fill out a community service report on which community that you're helping or, you know, what you're working to do with our resident council.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. Commissioner Cullen, anything else you want to ask? Or-
Nothing here.
All right. Okay, we'll move on to item B, Whispering Oaks Management Company.
As everyone is aware, we did have the Zoom call with the management company. Asked various questions, and they responded and provided additional information about themselves. Thereafter, the team met and talked about the agreement, the contract. A few other questions were posed via email. One of them had to do with did they manage any additional properties in the state of Georgia that showed that they were DCA compliant, and they have one in Augusta and one in Macon. They do have a background with the tax credits and the staff to with the certifications to be able to manage the property. They took a tour and they looked at 5 of the properties with the assistance of Mr. Jackson. They were the only management company, not a consultant. We had one consultant, one management, and so I guess we would just kind of take a page out of when we were looking for our audit services and we only got one bid. We would kind of take a step back and take the same process with that while we're only evaluating one. The other thing that came up also, and my suggestion was, and I'm open for any feedback or options that you all may offer, but to kind of ensure that the conflict, that potential conflict in this, and going with this company, we actually put that out front in the agreement, why and what safeguards we took to avoid, to make sure that there was nothing done inappropriate. So that, along with
So can you first state what's the name of the company? Is that allowed at this point?
yes, that would be Lockwood Management, and it's a company based out of Southville, Michigan.
And the safeguards that we put in place,
Yes.
can we outline some of those?
Before they submitted their bid, I was notified that there was a conflict by the parties involved in the conflict, so that I would be put on notice. So that was before we even received the proposal.
Okay.
Once we got the proposal, we looked at factors that would qualify them out, taking into consideration any type of conflict.
Okay.
And the fact that once we made a proposal to the board, there would be no participation by anyone that was a part of the conflict in the actual voting on the approval of this process.
Okay, I got you. So where are we at now? You all making a recommendation today, or is that coming? Or do we need
So
Mr.
The-
Dickinson to be here?
I think he just hopped on the Zoom.
I'm on. I'm sorry. I'm on.
All right. We're talking about Whispering Oaks Management. the Lockwood Management Company was the only one to respond to our RFP for property management for the Whispering Oaks properties. And so we're talking about making sure that we don't have any conflict of interest. Mr. Basden was explaining that, but we're kind of at the point of approval right now, right?
Yes, there were 2 or 3 lingering questions we wanted to nail down prior to.
Okay.
But based on the calendar, do they have the necessary software so that it's going to be in line with the current management company in order for an easy transition? If not, what steps can they put in place to make sure that there's no gap in time as far as the transition? And then based upon the calendar and when the management is to terminate, what steps are they going to actually put in place concrete to make sure that they can meet that transition date? Those were kind of the last things that we wanted to hammer down with them. Wasn't able to get that information today, but we are at the point where we wanted to, subject to being able to provide the board with that information, submit them for approval today.
So the board is asking us to go ahead and approve them as the new property managers, subject to them providing the additional information of transition with the software, and being able to start, I'm assuming February 1, since the other contract ends July the 31st.
January 31st, yes.
Right, or do they need to be started January 31st?
They would probably need to start a couple of days before.
Okay. So, we would need a, Commissioner Dickerson, or Hayes out, if you all, and you certainly, go ahead and you can ask any questions, are they? That's kind of where we are. Are you all, understanding everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we need a motion from one of you all, and Commissioner Cullen is not voting on this particular item because he knows one of the people involved in the company.
Okay, I like the motion that we move forward with. I wasn't able to hear the company, but just for record's sake, I like to make motion. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Lockwood Management.
Motion is Lockwood
Yes.
Management to move forward with our Whispering Oaks project.
Second.
It's been motion and properly second to move forward with Lockwood Management with the conditions. Can I do this, Ben? With the conditions stated by Mr. Basden of them starting prior to the other company, the current company's contract running out, and their software being compatible, working out the software. All right, it's been properly motioned and seconded with the conditions stated. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Pastor Dickerson. Pastor Dickerson, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get off mute. I'm sorry.
Okay, and we have one abstention. All right, so that passes.
Commissioner, can I play a little bit?
Yes,
Commissioner Collins, you sure you didn't set this up?
I had nothing to do with it, but I'm glad we got somebody coming in to manage that thing.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I just wanted to play a little bit. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Can we say with all of this? All right, approval of the write-offs for January 24. And explain to me again what the write-offs are. I mean, I think I know what they are, but talk to me again about what they are so the public will know as well, anybody that's watching.
The write-offs are just the bad debts for tenants who have been evicted or they moved out.
Okay, so these are folk who are no longer with us.
Correct.
Okay.
And this is for the month of November and December.
What's this $1,800 maintenance charge? Is that damage to one of the units?
It could be damage to the property, yes.
It's the move out charges.
Just the move out charges, all the charges combined into one.
Okay.
And it'll just say maintenance.
But to be that high, there would have to be some damage or something got taken.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of broken doors and probably a lot of stuff left in the unit. The time it takes to clean out that unit, so the labor is charged at a rate of, I want to say $30 an hour per move out charge. And then you're gonna have about 7 or 8 people over there, and that unit could be one that took 3 to 4 hours to clean out.
Gotcha.
And HUD's okay with that?
Yes.
That's not something we would be cited for.
Yeah, no, as
No.
long as it's in your charge list when they sign the lease.
Okay.
Cool.
Now the amps, and you all can just email me what the amps names are. I don't know what amp
Price
one is.
of the amps.
You want me to tell you now? I can tell you.
No, just I'm not gonna
Okay,
remember. Just send it to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
You remember amp two?
Huh?
Is that Evan Andrews?
No.
That's
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Two Abbott is part of the
Yeah, F and C F two. I'm thinking about 3.
Albert should be
That's
number
next
one.
Yeah. You can remember 3. 3 is McIntyre Court 05
Yeah.
in Little Brooklyn, right across
Okay.
the street.
And then anything south of Gloucester Street is AMP 1.
All right. Any questions around these charges, Commissioner Dickerson or Commissioner Hayes?
No, sir.
All right. And the total amount is $52,793. Am I reading that right?
Mhm.
And that's for just,
That's
that's December?
November and December.
That's November and December.
Yes.
And that's a little higher than normal
Yes.
for both months. It's usually around 8 or 10,000 a month.
Correct. Some of these units probably had retro rent. I know a lot of them did. And yeah, so
How
that's
long,
why it's
how long do we go before we have to start, evicting somebody situation?
so
Barring, something happening, we know that they destroying it or something, or some incident happened that would require them to be immediately vacated.
we have to give notice if we're gonna evict them.
Okay.
It just depends on what the situation.
No matter what the situation, we have to give them notice. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So if they have a barred individual, that's 14 days. If it's any damages or anything, we will get notified from maintenance, and we'll send them notice, let them know there'll be a charge for X, Y, and Z, whatever the charges are. When we do like interim or annual, when like they get retro, they're not reporting their income or anything like that. That's how they get those charges.
Oh, okay. So their income has changed or something, and they haven't reported the increase.
Correct.
And so everybody, well, I'm assuming
It's all different.
everybody doesn't know about Job Plus, because that would help, I guess, waylay some of that worry about their rent going up.
Some of this,
This is before
them.
before
Mhm.
that. So, okay, but what are you all sensing about them, people knowing about Job Plus and the benefits of it?
They know.
They know about
Yeah,
it.
they know about it, but just being persistent and pressing them. I think we got like 12 people on that income disallowance. That's that part that freezes. So they know, but just being willing to want to go out there and get work is the thing. Yeah, it's the whole mentality shift.
So you're saying, folk, there's a sense that people are not willing to
Take advantage of it.
of it by seeking employment, or
It's the whole change. It's a whole mentality paradigm shift that
They
have
get
to-
free rent and that's what they look for, but keeping a job or actually going to look for it is, it's kind of hard for some.
so don't have a good work ethic.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I've seen the Jobs Plus people out doing their outreach on the properties.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the information is there for everybody. But just like they're saying, some people just don't want to take advantage of it, or they may not have enough of the information up front to even be able to form an opinion one way or the other about it. So they may not be willing to even go in and see what could be, how it could benefit them.
Okay.
It's probably more of we haven't changed our policies and procedures to match what we want our residents to benefit from. So, for example, going forward in 2024, the AMPS would keep a running list of their tenants who are unemployed. And maybe we build something in where we have a check-in with them every other week about what can we do to help you, assist you with this. And as part of their agreement, know that if an opportunity's been provided and you don't take advantage of it, you're basically stating you don't want to be here. So why would we allow someone to stay on the property when we're giving them opportunities to gain employment? And even if they have to start paying rent, the rent would be at a reduced amount. Yet they want to continue to stay here and not do anything. Sounds like a person that doesn't want to be in the properties at all. So we should probably build in a mechanism where we can alleviate that from them. Because if there's a waiting list of people who want to come in, who want to work, then those are the people that should have the opportunity of having affordable housing. Not someone who just wants to play video games and watch TV all day.
Well, right, and our thing is, the dilemma is, how do we do that in a humane way? Because we have to take that in consideration so that we don't add to homelessness.
Right.
Because if that's the mentality, they probably won't have any place to go. So we may need a transitional piece to deal with that as we're changing this culture.
Right, and it won't be a one time you haven't done anything, you out. No, I think it's a progression, but I think 12 months are more than generous to give someone an opportunity, especially if we can get them started and we have the mechanisms to get them started.
Right.
And if they're sitting there 12 months later, then there should be no renewal of the lease. And I guess, I don't know, but sometimes hard situations make people reevaluate their behavior.
Right.
How do we do that in a HUD compliant way? Yeah.
Well, I think that's a valid point. But we also have to take into consideration the waiting list. And so again, there's others who are probably a whole lot more active in trying to take advantage of the housing and the programs that are involved with it. And so again, if someone is not being compliant, like we're paying for your transportation to get to the job, we're paying for the seminar to help you create your resume, we provide some form of a closing allowance so you have adequate closing to go. At some point, there just has to be, okay, what else can we do? And
Yeah, let's look at that. I really want us to, I think we'll be moving toward this, but staff it. I know we have these contracts with vendors to help with support, but I really want us to be able to do this internally with dealing with that, and creating the relationship with these families. And I don't know, I guess Ms. Smith would know the managers. They all build a relationship with their residents, correct? And so, and may know what's the motivating factor for them. That then we could maybe make the right referral or bring in the right person to build a relationship to help move them to a more independent, self-sufficient kind of mentality. It is not going to be easy, and if we figure it out, we probably would get some kind of award in the country.
Peace prize.
Right. But the only thing that kills a failure is an effort. I heard that somewhere. That's not mine. But I do want us to look at this and to begin to change the culture around this, because as I said to some folk today, this is not a permanent residency program. It's supposed to be temporary and to help people stand themselves up. And that's what we need to get to. And that's what I hear you saying, Mr. Basin, with this. And how we do that, Commissioner Coe, within HUD regulations, is the trick.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a great mentality to have out of the executive director that we want to. I think everybody wants this to be transitional housing. You know,
right.
help people grow, get better, and move on.
And it's why you do the mix. You don't, you have folk who have other folk who are successful around them. And so we'll make more of our residents successful right now. Then, people will catch it. I think more people.
I think for the large part, though, most people work, even
Right.
if it's part-time.
Right, they do something and they have a side hustle.
Yeah.
So,
Unreported side hustle.
right.
Unknown and unreported.
Yeah.
Don't go digging.
Yeah. And that was, I am going to take a point of privilege. That was why we made the proposal from BBL, I believe, to help with that side hustle, make it more legitimate. But anyway, that's another discussion. Okay. What do we need to approve this? The write-offs?
I have one question that I think y'all can probably answer. But on because of Jobs Plus, we had the fictitious debt. None of that is represented in this write-off sheet, correct? We made sure of that, so we're not writing up stuff that we'll get back eventually.
Because these are all people that are
Gone. Yes. And none of that overlaps with Jobs Plus at this point.
Those people are still tenants.
Okay, good.
Those who are registered for the program.
Go ahead. What, do we know how many people we can pay for out of this grant? I know we're just talking about a small amount right now, but let's say it catch fire, you know. do
We got to control it through budget. How much of your budget you want to dedicate to the disallowance. That's what it comes down to. Because some people you're paying 100%. Some people you paying $100, $200. It just depends. Everybody's different.
I got
So
you.
you just got to budget, and after going through it 1 year, 2 years, you know kind of what to budget for.
Yeah. And it's kind of us moving the grant money to really just to our account, right? Don't ever have. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Commissioner Dickerson, Commissioner Hayes?
I have a comment on the job club. From talking to residents in my own experience with them, there's a lot of miscommunication. Sometimes the case manager might tell you something that wasn't said up front, and it just makes for misinformation for residents, and then it'll cause them a late fee, or they'll be thinking that their rent is going to be covered and it's not covered. So I would just want to advocate for Ms. Honey or whoever teaches the case managers their job on the information that they relate to the residents, for them to be a little bit more thorough and have a little bit more paperwork for the resident to receive and go over, with that case manager. So if there's anything that was said that isn't so later on down the line, it's just like a paper trail. That's what I feel like it needs to have. And then as far as the pantry that they have going on, see that they're allocating funds for it, but not as many residents are taking advantage of the pantry that they are having. And then, how do we know what's in there if they don't allow us to look? So I think even if we're not allowed to look, there should be an itemized list of everything that comes in and a checklist on what goes out.
Ms. Hayes, so you're saying that the residents are not allowed to look at the food? They don't shop when they go in the pantry?
They are not allowed to look inside the pantry. The case manager will give them 2 meats, a bag of canned goods that may have a box item, and then if there's a kid, they may get cereal or some kind of snack. But if you got towels, blankets, silverware, household items, or hair care products, or just feminine products back there, if a resident can't see it and you don't have a list for them to check what they need, they're not really getting what they need. They're getting what you want to give them. And I've been over there several times, and it's like they have a stockpile, but nobody is really not leaving the building. If it is, it's not going to the residents, because they probably only service they make 6 to 8 a month. And that's because the residents don't know what they have. They're not advertising it so that we do know what they have. And then they saying it keep from people just saying, they want stuff and don't need it. But I beg to differ.
Yeah, that's not why it was set up, Mr. Bays. And can you look at this? And and commissioners, maybe we need to freeze the funding until we figure out a better way to distribute this, to make sure the residents have full access to what's available to them. Because that's not why we set this up. And we shouldn't be stockpiling anything. Actually, it should be empty shelves. They should be going out to our families. We're not hoarding this stuff. If you all are okay with us having Mr. Baisden, unless we need to do a vote on this, to maybe just allow him to freeze the funding until we get a better way to distribute this.
It's just a director. Because it's already been voted on how much the cap is, and it has to go through him anyway. So it's just director just let me know.
Yeah, I think directing Mr. Basin to get it.
So let's maybe the twist can be, from my understanding, there are 2 days a week that the residents can come by to either receive their bag or supposedly supposed to do their shopping. So why don't we go ahead and do this? If they're receiving a bag, we can end that now. So whatever day that there is left in this week, when they come in, they will come in with their own bag to get what it is they need. Because the point you made is valid. If there's stuff in there and we stop them from coming until we figure out a better way to do this, that stuff is just going to sit. And I'm like you, I'd prefer it all be gone. And
Right.
it all empty out, and in that way, if we before we renew anything or add anything or put more stuff in there, we make sure that we're clear that the stuff is for them and how they need to come in and get it. So going forward, they need to come in and just take what they need.
Right. No, I was just talking about the funding of it,
Okay.
not to stop giving it out. But you're right. I totally agree with that. Let's let them.
So henceforward, going forward, I'll
Yeah.
speak with them first thing in the morning. Whatever day of the week it is they go, and it's twice a week. One day is in the morning, and the other day is in the afternoon. I think they're either 2 or 3 days apart.
Okay.
So yeah, going forward, they just need to be able to come in and get what it is they need.
Yeah. And
Commissioner, can I say something real quick, please?
yes, go ahead.
Mr. Basin, can we please look into this, because that's given me quite a concern. If we're holding back products that should be leaving, how much more of the program is being held back? So if you can do that for us, please just look into this program and see what is actually going on. And I've been trying to ask questions from the beginning, because I like to see what we're really doing with this program, because it's a great program, and I think we should be utilizing it correctly. So would that be possible, please, to look into it a little further, the whole program, to make sure that things are operating correctly?
Absolutely. I think I mentioned at the last work session, one of my concerns was the debt that we've been carrying from month to month, because we have been unable to apply the grant money to the tenants who are in the program to their rent. And so it's showing us as having uncollected rent, which bodes badly in appearance-wise for us, without understanding why. So one of the things we've done over the last week is we've gone back and had them readjust their documentation, so we are able to actually match the rent with the grant money so that we can get rid of this debt. That was one of the things. The second thing is Mr. Jackson's been going over them with some of their payments of the programs to ensure that the MOU requirements, the fees, are actually matching the amounts that we're supposed to be charged for. Because some of the invoices that have been provided, they're not matching. And lastly, reading your mind, a few weeks ago, we started going back and asking them to retrace their invoices for expenditures they've been submitting, so that we can see specifically in the grant where the invoices, where they would fall in the one category. Because again, at some point, come the fall, what are we going to have but another audit? And the last thing I need is Jobs Plus to be another problem for this agency. So we're cutting that off ahead of way in advance.
Thank you, sir.
Do you feel like it's generally being properly administered then?
Not everybody is general ledger accountant savvy. Entry in, entry out. Payment here, matching fund there. Credit, zero. Not everyone has that, and that's fine. And I told them you don't need to have it, but we need to make sure we're all on the same page. So what you can't do, myself or someone else can do, until we teach each other, so that we're all on the same page, because that's how it's got to be done.
So we're getting there.
We are. Slowly, painfully, but surely, we are.
Yeah, and I think I guess I'm gonna echo the sentiments of Commissioner Dickerson, especially now with this idea of and what Commissioner Hayes was saying is handing out stuff knowing we have stuff stockpiled. That mentality is the old culture of this agency, and I'm glad to hear that you already on the way to wiping that out. But the staff needs to understand that, or we need to do something different. I'm gonna just leave it at that. All right. Any other questions around this? I guess we were on. I don't know how we got on this.
Write-offs.
I moved to approve the write-offs for
We need a vote on the write-offs.
Yeah. Move to approve the write-offs for January 2024, including November and December of 23.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second to approve the write-offs as presented. All in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous for the write-offs. The holiday calendar. Any comments, Mr. Basin, around the holiday calendar? This is our been approved calendar. I guess I only had one comment. Was Christmas Eve in exchange for Columbus Day. I'm just throwing that out there in the atmosphere.
That's federal.
It is. You know they changed the name of that, right?
Yeah, the indigenous peoples.
I think they did that 2 years ago.
Yeah. No, I'm good with this. We need approval for this right now. We can discuss any changes or additions to this.
So federal holiday.
Any discussions around it? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
Move to approve the 2024 holiday calendar as presented.
Second. Oh,
It's been motioned and properly seconded to approve the holiday calendar as presented. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. So we'll go with, but we need to change that to indigenous on there, please. We don't want that murderer on our calendar. Anyway, we have executive session, Mr. Basin, Ben, things that we need to discuss.
I mean, I'm glad to, but I don't have anything.
You don't have anything pressing? Do we need an update on pending litigation?
I think if we have one, it won't be more than 5 minutes. It would just be me updating you guys on day to day. And
All right, let's take that 5 minutes. If you all okay with that?
Yep.
If I'll entertain a motion to go in executive session.
I move to exit the open meeting and enter executive session.
Second.
The motion properly second that we go in executive session. All in favor, say aye.
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 And Bradley, is that on, or do you cut with that red thing blinking?
Yeah, it's blinking, it's on, been recording. You started off.
And the Zoom's not streaming or recording, right?
Let me turn on the certain circumstances. You're gonna set to upload automatically unless
no, I went straight into the public housing.
no, that's not recording.
Thank you.
Federal
Thank you
regulations.
for reminding me.
That's all right.
And that's why I found the hardship. And so
Y'all don't know how to act.
I'll finish it, then I'm gonna run it by
Under
someone
an hour.
else, but it looks like there's a hardship thing.
It's too efficient.
That allows you to modify.
It was about like at our,
calculated based on all the
Work
factors.
session,
There's a
and even
mechanism
our,
coming behind it to
commission
change
meeting the
it.
other night.
And it falls under hardship.
I don't think it was 30 minutes.
But
That's
Everybody looked at Aaron Strange, she's like, no executive session.
that's wild for the county to not have executive session.